Hi, my name is Ayub, and joining me today is Wiktoria Wójcik, co-founder of InStreamly, a trailblazing platform transforming how brands collaborate with streamers. As a leader in the gaming and tech industry, Wiktoria has empowered thousands of micro streamers by democratizing sponsorship opportunities and reshaping the digital creator economy. With her vision and innovation, InStreamly has expanded globally, driving engagement in countries across Europe and beyond. Let's dive into her insights on entrepreneurship, gaming, and the evolving creator landscape. Welcome to Business Blueprint. Wiktoria, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming here. And the first thing I want to ask is, why, or what inspired you to choose the startup path in the gaming industry rather than the creator part of it?
I'd say it started pretty early because when I was a teenager, my mom used to laugh at me that I will not be a very good employee, and she was right, and that I need to have my own business because I'm just not gonna make it in a normal working world. And for me, it was kind of natural to think about doing a business in the future, though it wasn't like I just decided, oh, I'm doing a startup right now. Actually, the idea for InStreamly came from one of my co-founders who then created the MVP with our CTO. And then he invited me into the company. And it was more of okay, I'm taking my chances. There's an opportunity, I'm going to take this opportunity and maybe the next one, instead of a very concrete decision, okay, I'm an entrepreneur right now. I even remember when I first, when we were starting, I was going to therapy, and for many reasons, because people should be going to therapy for many reasons. And I remember that it was one of the most important topics to talk about was, I'm becoming a founder, I'm becoming a boss right now. How am I gonna get myself around it? And it actually is way harder and way easier than you imagine.
Got it. And so you've been a gamer yourself for many years. How did that help in your career as a founder, as a startup founder, and what skills did you get from gaming?
Surprisingly, a lot of stuff from games was helpful in real life, mostly because we do marketing to gamers. So, my knowledge about streamers, about League of Legends, about players, about how the game is played, was just really important part of the job. When we were doing the campaigns to gamers, we just need to have this knowledge. I'd say that even though there are studies saying that gaming gives you a lot of soft skills, like being able to cope with failure, etc., I cannot attribute this all to gaming, but I'd say that gaming for sure gave me the connections and gave me a passion point to, create my future around. So I was, a really avid gamer. I loved gaming. And in a sense, I also liked marketing. I liked all those things. And I just wanted to join those things together. I wouldn't be as passionate about fashion marketing or any kind of other marketing than the ones that is my own passion.
What makes gaming so special? It is so interesting as an industry as a whole, and just the passion that comes from people who are into gaming is incredible. And I want to know, why is it so special?
I think that there are going to be many researchers about that, but my own opinion is that gaming is a very active form of entertainment. So with TV series, watching TV, etc., you're just a passive enjoyer. Or even with watching YouTube, you are not contributing to what's going on. You are not really living the story. You are just merely witnessing it. And with games, you are actually influencing the story. You're a part of it, and you can I think any kind of motivation you might have to destroy, have fun, design, create, etc., you can channel it in games. And they not only offer you a way to play a story out, but to, for example, do something and see what happens, create a thing, share things with people, spend time with people. So I think that gaming is just like an ascended form of entertainment where you have all the benefits of other entertainment forms combined and even more immersive. And this is why it's, so compelling, because it's also very, very vast. Because a player that plays League of Legends because they want to be a pro player is somebody entirely different than a teenage girl playing The Sims and creating outfits or game scenarios in it. So I think gaming, because it's so vast, it's so elastic, and it gives you so much opportunity for you as a player and as a creator to create a game for those players. It just has room for growth that any other media didn't have before. And of course, like internet computers help with that.
Exactly. And it's still a growing industry, as big as it is right now. And the positioning of InStreamly and as a product also is great, actually. And I want to know what separates InStreamly from other influencer marketing agencies. Obviously, it's focused on streamers and gaming, but what separates it from other?
I'd say that we are further away from influencer agency than we are from TV advertising, in a sense that of course, we operate in a live streaming. So live streaming is when people broadcast live how they mainly play games, but it's also like a whole culture around like platforms like Twitch, etc. And the problem with live streamers was that most of them have less than 100 concurrent viewers. So 100 people watching you, a lot. But in the terms of, hey, we want Samsung to, promote their new product, 100 people at once, not enough. So it meant that most brands worked with the same celebrities over and over again. And most streamers didn't earn the money on their passion. And 100 viewers is a lot in streaming. Like getting so many people watch you for 4 hours a day, it's, a lot. Yeah. And it also meant that those brands are not reaching those diverse communities. So we automated the whole process of making brands appear inside the streamer's content without much input. So it wasn't the usual influencer marketing of, hey, can you please show that for an hour, then take it down, please send us the statistics, yada, 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 a lot of process. Instead, we fully automated it. And then the next step, and what really makes us different, is we added context into it. Yeah. So because it's an automated system, we are able to know what's happening in the streamed game. For example, if the streamer is winning the game, losing the game, how much energy, what do they buy, etc. We are able to monitor what people are writing in the chat. So what is the interaction, and even what the streamer is saying. And based on that, we can pick the right moments in the stream to place the brand messaging in. And this is how we are closer to any kind of like form of media advertising, in a sense that it's scalable. It's not like a manual influencer marketing that I'm going to show you a can of Coke. Instead, Coke celebrates winning in thousands of streams that win the game at this moment. And thanks to this mix of, being a bit like influencer marketing, because it's unblockable by ad blocks, viewers appreciate it, etc. And streamers choose the brands they want to partner with. And on the side, it's a media spend, media advertising, in the sense that for brands, you can put it in Excel. Okay. You can scale it easily. You get very measurable, very verifiable results. And we just created, I'd say, a new media segment in the gaming industry. So it's I think not influencer marketing, it's contextual advertising in live streaming, and it only works and is only proved for the future because it works with creators directly. It doesn't interrupt the viewing experience, and it's unblockable by ad blocks, because anyone that isn't working with creators or creating things that people want to watch and see as not intrusive will probably in the coming years get even worse and worse to have any kind of ROI from that.
Got it. So it shows the right brand based on all the other factors, not just any brand that the streamer is working with.
The right brand in the right
automatically.
Context. Yeah.
Got it. That's incredible. And so how do brands choose the right streamers, or vice versa?
We do.
Okay.
Like they can, but if we tell, like our biggest campaign, for example, had 1,982 streamers participating. So if you were to choose each streamer manually, a lot of work. You don't want to do that. No. Instead, we have a lot of measures for brand safety, fraud protection, and a lot of moderation, AI and human-led moderation that helps us choose the right streamers for the campaign. We can also do targeting based on the games played. So for example, if there is a brand that doesn't want to be associated with games that have like very realistic violence or gun violence, we can just exclude those games. And when a streamer is playing this game on their stream, the brand will not appear. Even though if they were playing another game, the brand would appear. So there is a lot of things coming in, and it's more about the scale, about the long tail of streamers. Of course, we do use also this tech for campaigns where a brand has like 5 ambassadors. They paid those big streamers to be their ambassadors, and they just want cool technology, a cool idea to, make something interesting with them. This is where we provide the technology as well.
What kind of brands? I'm interested in the games that have a lot of violence. What kind of brands do you connect to that? Because lifestyle games and the other
so for
brands,
example, there's a big distinction. This is actually funny. So Fortnite is not a violent game, and Call of Duty is, in a sense that Fortnite has a shooting, but it's there is no blood. There is an elimination, not a kill. So the character is disappearing like a hologram instead of them falling down. So this is a distinction. For some brands, even Fortnite is not okay. So then you have Minecraft, Roblox. League of Legends is all right for some reason, because it's magic, the skills, it's not realistic. So it really depends on the brands, but I'd say that for sure horror games, games that are 18 plus by default, games like CS or Call of Duty where you have very realistic gun violence and in a very realistic setting are the first ones to go. And then you negotiate with that. This is also funny because the same brands wouldn't have an issue with being advertised in a James Bond movie, even though they are vastly more aggressive and less safe and more violent. So I think for the past 5 years, we've been doing that. It's been a long road of educating the clients, and we see more brave brands in the sense that they understand this, and they understand that if they want to reach gamers, they have to be in this kind of medium, instead of them trying to, reach 30-year-old guys by being in Roblox.
Okay. And what kind of products, kids, for example, can advertise in violent?
From they don't want to advertise in violent,
or who want to advertise in violent games?
I wouldn't say want to advertise in violent games. Just they understand gaming and they don't, care as long as they are not, for example, associated with violent moments, etc. They more care about the streamers than being, like good people than the games that they play. Because it's like similar to, sponsoring hip hop or rap artists. It's the same. So there's going to be a lot of curse words and guns in the video, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. Mostly it's going to be brands that are associated with or either do stuff that is targeted at kids. So for sure, if you are doing a campaign targeted at young teenagers, you don't need those games. And brands that are usually associated, like, it just doesn't fit their brand. So I cannot name names, sorry. But if you are promoting a movie from a company that has a lot of, kids movies, and it's not a horror movie, you probably, want to move to like teenage areas instead of like mature games.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about this is, as you mentioned, this is really a cultural thing, and it's about educating people in general that it's the same gaming or real life. Like it's a game after all. Yeah, people want to enjoy it. It's a form of entertainment. Shouldn't be taken that seriously.
It isn't that serious, I'd say. And I think right now it's also the conversation changed, because like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, doing something in gaming was like, okay, like new territory. And gamers also like seen it as, a brand finally is noticing us. But right now, because gaming is the biggest entertainment market in the world, and gamers are very, very hard to reach outside gaming. So you have like 70% of Gen Z saying that games are their favorite pastime. And it means that most of their free time, they play games or they watch content related to gaming. And when they do watch this content, they use ad blocks. So for brands, it isn't about, oh, gaming is fun, we should be in gaming. No, it's entirely like business based. Okay, we need to reach young people. They are playing games or watching game content, and they will block us in any other form of advertising. So we have to be inside the content, inside the game, or we are not reaching them at all. Okay. And you are missing out on the biggest generation in the world. So this is why they're like, more brave, like they understand gaming more because they have to. And this is why they, want to do stuff in gaming.
Yeah. What was the most challenging thing technologically that you created to have this unique value of InStreamly?
I think it wasn't really challenging per se, as in, we had a big idea of how it will work, and then we created a product, and then we marketed the product. We first had an MVP that was very scrappy, and we just started selling campaigns. So we were working in an esports organization. We had like 30 different streamers and a lot of brands sponsoring the organization, and we needed to deliver those brands some value. So we started, using this MVP, the idea of InStreamly, to just for our own need to place those brands and give them some visibility in those streams. And then one after another, there came brands saying, hey, we don't want to sponsor an esports organization. We just want to be visible in streams. So we quickly realized, hey, this is working. And we just started selling campaigns before half of the tech was ready. So the core idea of showing something in the stream and distributing the views, that if within a month we have to generate 1 million views, it will mean that we try to distribute them evenly in 30 days. But then there were like many things that were very manual. I remember the first time one of our first employees and now our head of sales joined the team. And as a hello, I was teaching him like a very, very manual thing to do, as in creating links for the streamers to like have published in their chats. And I told him, hey, in a week or two, we will have an automatic link shortener that will be ours, so you don't have to do it manually. Okay. And he had to do like 100, copy paste every day because streamers were applying the campaign. So it was a lot of like small incremental steps. And then there are big challenges. For example, like good problems in a sense. Right now we had 30 campaigns running at the same time in one market. Okay. And the old system of queuing them up and making sure that they distribute evenly, that they deliver all the views, like the whole ad server behind it, was working until this point, in a sense that right now the system had flaws that just doesn't scale. So you have like a very new problem and people trying to come up with an idea of an algorithm to sort it out. And nobody has had this problem before. Even we didn't have it before. So with this contextual technology, it's a lot driven by the creative team. So we are like, okay, what else can we see? How can we use those mechanisms? And then we come up with an MVP for that, pitch it to a client, develop it and input it, and then make it a part of offering. So the challenging parts I think are those surprising parts. And you can always, if you have something that involves money for normal people for doing normal stuff, you will come up with fraudsters, people wanting to, game the system. And one of our biggest achievements is actually our fraud protection measurements, because it's always a cat and mouse game. You basically are chasing one thing, you are finding out the ways that they cheat in viewership, and then you have to, make a system to check it. So we are pretty good at that. It also helps that those streamers, are easy to catch. But it's, I think it was one of the biggest challenges, to constantly also have this mindset of working on it. So it's less than technologically complex. Probably our CTO can tell more about what's technologically complex, apart from, having a huge database with many points, etc. But from the product perspective, it was, okay, how can we maintain focus on the right things, and how not only maintaining, but also what are the new focus points of how we can, make the tool actually better in a way that clients buy it first and then we introduce it.
Okay, and how do you decide which points or what to focus on? Do you communicate more with streamers or with brands or both?
With brands
both.
mostly.
Okay.
So with streamers, it's they are important, but it's always our priority is to deliver them the most campaigns.
Okay.
If they earn money, they are happy.
Okay.
That's all. So the main focus is always, having interesting stuff for the brands, like system working correctly, etc. Everything, because if we have the campaigns, the streamers will be happy, and the most important thing that they care about, that they get out of the platform, is the money that they earn on those sponsorships. So of course there's a lot of talk with the streamers. Like we have, for example, a community council, a group of streamers that test the first alpha features, etc. We do ask our streamers for a lot of feedback. We also have helpers, so people who are just a part of our community, but they are so active that they have become official helpers, and they help in our Discord, like with answering questions. There was a lot of done in sake of creating our own AI Discord bot that answers most important questions, etc. So a lot of small steps. Once again, not like big features. We actually tried to make a big new product for streamers and creators, and we weren't really good at that. One of the biggest failures was we had an idea. I still think it's a great idea, but we failed to really do the interviews with the possible customers, asking them whether it's a good idea. And it was the mom test. So we came to just some friends, said, hey, we have this idea. And they said, oh, it's a cool idea. And we agreed, oh, it's a cool idea. Let's do it. And 300,000 euros later of lost opportunities, money spent, not a good idea, in a sense that we did not put enough resources, or we put too much in it, and the product is gone. So it's a fun thing, but you will never see it actually impacting the rest of the business.
Yeah, this is the thing about entrepreneurship. Like it's about just doing the thing, but you learn the hard way many times. And what was the lesson that you learned from that experience? What you could have done better?
I'd say that first of all is the idea verification. It's funny because this is like the same trap I see like when I consult with founders, or some founders reach out to me saying, hey, I have an idea for an app. And usually my response is, okay, people don't care about your app. Like don't care about your idea. Whatever you want people to do, as long as it doesn't answer their needs, they don't care about your app. And we failed into the same problem. So we had a great idea that seemed great to us. It should work, but it didn't come from a real user need. A user saying, hey, this is my problem. And then we come up with, oh, this is a way to solve this problem. So that was a hard lesson in asking those questions. We are way better at that right now. And this is one of the lessons I tell actually to founders, upcoming founders that approach me, to read the books about user interviews and make those interviews and make decisions based on what people want and not what you want people to want. And the other lesson is about, taking risks. In the end, I'm very happy that we did it. In a sense, if it worked, it could be huge. And startups are about taking those risks. We learned a lot. Maybe in the future we can sell this technology. So I don't mind it. I think if we were also a different organization, so one that could focus more resources and overall more focus also of the founders on this product, and and not try to mix it. So we work with small influencers, and the product we created was the best for medium and very large influencers, especially those very, very large influencers. So we couldn't focus on working with them. And it was also, tied together with our system. So I think still, like, if I had a lot of time on my hand and will to do things in the creator economy once again, I would try to redo it. But the biggest lesson was, I think, around asking the right questions and not minding that you took a risk and it failed. Like, I think also this is the biggest lesson in being a founder and entrepreneur. You just will fail. You will fail 1,000 times. People will not respond to your messages. Investors will say no. Hires will say no. You will not find the right person. You will have to fire them. Like, it's gonna be failure over failure. And you just have to be able to not mind it. Say, okay, yeah, let's go next and try again.
Yeah, it's extremely important to have this skill of speed of execution and then learning on the go. Yeah, obviously, sometimes you make mistakes, you learn from them, and you move on, not dwell on whatever mistake you're making.
Because if you stop at the mistake, then like this is the last thing. You failed. This was a failure. It failed. This is the end. And if you treat it like, okay, this experiment, this test didn't go well, okay, let's test the next hypothesis. You did not fail yet. You are just on a road to success that probably leads through a lot of failures. So yeah, this kind of resilience, overall, I think it was a happy time for us to be in, to be able to spend this money on a product that, wasn't that appealing. Would I change it if we were to do it once again? Probably I would love to focus those time, resources, and ideas for our main product. Yeah. But also this one had a potential. If it worked out, it probably would, blew us out in the big leagues, but it didn't.
Yeah, but this is basically entrepreneurship. Like, you have to experiment things, because otherwise, if you just do the things you cannot innovate.
Yeah, if you do the same thing over and over again, you will not get new results.
Exactly.
My favorite saying is, if you want something to change, something has to change.
Exactly. Yeah, this is absolutely right. I want to ask you about what brands look for streamers. Is it only viewership, or are there any other metrics or KPIs that they look for?
In our case, it's like they look for certain categories. So, for example, we know that viewers of certain age watch this category. And in the end, we do sell like an aggregated viewership. Mm-hmm. So we say, hey, this brand will appear in streams. Okay. And totally it will be seen by 1 million people 1 million times. So so in the end, the brands are not choosing one particular streamer. When you do influencer marketing, that's very direct. And I always say that if you want like an ambassador or somebody just even more engaged with the brand, this is the right idea. And then for sure, you cannot just choose by viewership. Then you have to choose like by other channels, because, TikTok, X, Instagram, etc. matters in live streaming as well. And then you choose somebody who fits to the brand, like their image. Probably there are streamers in the same category that would fit some brands more than others. And it's more of a vibe, of a feeling. Who are their viewers, how they act on the stream, what's interesting, what they are interested in, like in music, sport, etc. So you have to, something that corresponds with the idea of the brand.
What is the platform now that has the highest amount or most engaging amount of gamers and streamers as well? Is it Twitch?
Yeah, it's gonna be Twitch. Then it's gonna be YouTube. Okay. YouTube, it's probably bigger overall in live streaming, but the gaming community, like Twitch, really has a community. So there is like, for example, I was a streamer myself. When I was streaming League of Legends, like people watched me, but when I was peeling potatoes and preparing salad for dinner, because I just had, to do it. So I turned on the stream and talked with people at the same time. There were the same people watching me. And you don't watch because of the content, you watch because of the streamer in the context of the content. And Twitch is a platform that has a broader gaming context. Okay. So even if you are a streamer streaming cooking on Twitch, you're still reaching, I'd say, the gamer demographic. Whereas on YouTube, it's a bit more mixed. And then there is an up-and-coming Kick. Kick is a new platform created by people associated with a casino website. It was first done as a way to have live streaming, like casino live streaming that was banned on Twitch. But they quickly expanded as a competitor to Twitch, and trying to take the streamers over. Also, some streamers that are not brand safe or were banned or were controversial on Twitch, they moved to Kick. I think Kick is moving steadily. It's interesting because it's as it's not as popular in, for example, Western markets like big countries.
Yeah.
But in Latin America, in India, etc., like also in the south of Europe, it's like smaller countries, smaller communities. For some reason, they tend to go to Kick instead of Twitch.
Okay.
So there is a potential going there. We for sure want to integrate with Kick in the future, but right now, Twitch and YouTube is sufficient.
And do you see streaming going beyond gaming? I know there are streamers who stream non-gaming topics, and even like the bigger streamers like iShowSpeed or Kai, they show themselves traveling, and which is interesting. Do you see that trend growing in non-gaming industries?
I'd say
topics?
I like a couple of years ago predicted it will be bigger than it is. I think the biggest player right now is TikTok, trying to push very much into live streaming. TikTok Live is when you scroll TikTok, you will get lives promoted, and they want to also get gaming, but they do a lot of like different weird streams, like people doing tarot cards and singing, etc. Then there is live e-commerce, very, very big in China, in Asia. I think failed in Europe. So there was this boom in 2021, I think, for live e-commerce, and nothing really stuck.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think also because they wanted to go for the young demographic, and where it really stuck, it was for the, let's say, Facebook moms. If you sometimes like wander very deep into Polish Facebook, you will see local boutiques, like small clothing shops, making live broadcasts, selling clothes, and it's gonna be like 50-year-old guy with a 50-year-old woman changing clothes and saying, "Oh, hi girls, yeah, this one is in size S to L to XL, costs 50 PLN and something," and people will order via messages. And for some reason, those are big because they serve as entertainment, not only shopping. And I think younger people also have other ways of entertainment than just this. So I'd say there is still a potential for that, but I was surprised how badly it performed up until now. And I think for sure the category like of miscellaneous streaming, of like celebrity streaming on Instagram Live, what is happening on TikTok, like there is a reason people want this interaction, want this live experience that is just a bit more than watching a VOD, because VOD is passive, and on live experience you can really, converse with the streamer, impact what is happening. We'll see. There are sports, etc., shows. Everything that was also was live on TV is live in live streaming, in digital, created by creators, YouTubers, streamers. So I'd say that there is a future for that, but gaming and the core gaming community probably will be winning for the upcoming time.
Is that because of how Gen Z operates basically and thinks that they're basically influence the culture as a whole? Or is it because of some other factors that
I'd say
it's influenced?
For sure the way Gen Z works with entertainment, so it's always more personalized. It's always more interactive. So we don't watch TV, and TV is very passive. It's the most passive form of entertainment because you cannot influence anything happening on the TV unless you're voting with your SMS for the next top model. This is it. And so then YouTube, we were influencing via comments, via interaction with social media. Then TikTok, it's faster. The creators also, like one of the most popular formats are answering questions that people ask, etc. So I'd say that for sure the live interaction and what live streaming brings, being especially in gaming, something between the very active gaming, because gaming is, very exhausting. You have to focus, you have to do stuff. Sometimes you don't have, the energy to do that. Especially if you work in gaming industry, there's this joke that once you start working in gaming, you don't play games. You just have enough of games. And then there's just passive watching, TV shows, VOD, Netflix, etc. And it's not enough. And live streaming is somewhere in the middle. And I think also it's more authentic, and for a reason Gen Z really loves authenticity. It's not only because it's cool, everybody loves authenticity. It's also because we grew up with very forced advertisement on social media, in digital, so we can spot an ad in half a second. And to not be seen as an ad, you really have to, be a bit messy, be authentic. And live streaming, it's very hard to be salesy on live streaming all the time. Even if you do a sponsored segment, even if it's like a very heavy sponsored segment, it's gonna be 10 minutes out of an hour, out of 3 hours, out of 4 hours. So I think live streaming is also, the form of entertainment that is probably the most authentic. You cannot, you cannot script it fully. And I think this also plays into what Gen Z expect in entertainment of all. Though stream viewers are older than you would expect. They will be around 16 to 30 years old, 70% male. Also because if you are a young teen and parents say, hey, you have an hour to spend on the computer, you can watch 10 6-minute packed with action YouTube videos. You can play free games. But in stream, like an hour-long stream, it's not that much. Like there's not gonna be something happening all the time. This is not the best ROI use of short amount of time. And people excel in being a streamer and watching streams when they probably move out of their parents' house, or they just have this more, more options to decide what's happening with their time. And this is where live streams are, for example, on for 4 hours at a time, and you're just, spending time. It's a companionship form of spending time than just watching.
What makes a great streamer?
I think it's gonna be similar to what makes a great entrepreneur in a sense. So let's make this comparison. First of all, you have to be relentless when you are a streamer. If you plan to stream once in a while, not really commit to it, you will not be a big streamer. I was not a big streamer myself because I didn't commit to a fixed schedule, and I didn't commit to, putting in the hours, streaming at least 2-3 times a week for a couple of hours, at least 2-3 hours or 4, and a set time. And it's really, you need this dedication. If you want to be a good content creator, or good in any kind of thing, really, you have to put in a time. And what also makes the best streamers, maybe this is not a comparison to an entrepreneur, but in a sense, if you watch the best streamers in the world and compare them to like the small ones, the worst ones, the best ones, usually when they are talking, when they are very active, they are talking nonstop. There is not a moment of silence. If there is a moment of silence, this is because they are all watching something. So there's always action. You are not giving a break. Like you are fully on for 4 hours at a time. When you are in, you are in. Maybe similar to entrepreneurship. If you are in, if it's your time to pitch, to talk, to sell, you cannot half-ass it. And this is the same. And the third thing is gonna be distribution. Most streamers fail in distribution, and most founders fail in distribution. As in, if you are a streamer, you are live for 4 hours. Your stream is visible for those 4 hours in the Twitch directory, and then you are gone. If you are not distributing your product, your stream, everywhere, not creating clips, not doing Instagram, etc., like creating a community, you will not be discovered. So if you want to be a streamer, you really have to, as like a founder, excel in not only being a streamer, playing a game, talking to people, selling them your personality, but you also have to do marketing, video editing, copywriting, management with brands, etc. So there's a lot of work and dedication, and not feeling like your only job is to play games. If you want to play games and be a successful streamer, you would have to be the best gamer in the world. So if you are the best player, like everybody says that you are the best player in this game, people will watch you because they want to learn from the best. If you have the hands down the best product in the world for a set thing, also people will buy it, even though your marketing is shit and everything else is shit. So I think, being a streamer, you need to be as good as a good entrepreneur.
And do you think these are natural skills or they can be acquired? Especially the second one you mentioned about being active nonstop. Not everyone has the skills or the social skills to be active nonstop or to talk nonstop.
Actually, most of the streamers are actually introverts.
Okay.
Because they talk to a camera, they talk to a chat. It's a safe space, and they actually are not very good in the social setting. So that's interesting. You can learn those skills the same way you can learn many things. It takes some kind of mindset. So it's less about like the hard skill, but the mindset of, hey, I want to do it. I want to try to do it.
Okay.
I have the grit to do it.
Got it. And back to the entrepreneurship, because being a streamer is kind of a business by itself, yeah. And there are a lot of young streamers at the moment, and to be completely honest, they're quite impressive, yeah. At a very young age. Like when I was 16, like you're not running a multi-million-dollar business, yeah. And now you see like 16 years old having like millions of followers, and they're pretty solid actually. Like they know their numbers, they know how to deal with brands. And how do you see that applying to the generation as a whole? Yeah, because Gen Z are born in this times where they know they think they can be YouTubers making millions of dollars at a very young age. Why did that? I mean, how is that happening? Why did it happen? And
I think this is
what are the consequences?
Yeah, survivorship bias, because also like in entrepreneurship, to be a good content creator, like a popular one, a one that earns a living, you also have to have a lot of luck. And it's also probably about who you know, because if you can get, shown by a big streamer, a big creator, they can boost your numbers. It's the easiest way to grow. So it's always gonna be about who you know and how much luck do you have. But I say for sure that right now we are in the first time in the world when seeing successful people, you have access to so many kinds of success that you can really feel that this success is attainable by anyone, in a sense that you see all those, Instagram influencers in finance, in something. Yeah. And it's not a guru on TV that you don't have access to. It is something that you can talk with, somebody who shares more of their thoughts. And it makes you think that probably if I put in enough work and I have an idea about myself, I can make this happen. And I think we are the first generation that really grew up with people, first of all, becoming self-made stars, as in YouTubers, creators, etc., and seeing people our age rise to fame and glory, not doing a normal job or not being a doctor. Yeah. And the second thing is right now, we don't see them only doing entertainment, but there's a lot of ways to be a creator in digital space and not being an entertainer per se. You can be entertainment educator, etc. So I think this influences the generation also because, I wanted to run a business because I thought to myself that the only way to buy a home, and I don't mean like a big villa, just like a good home, not far away from Warsaw, would be to exit a startup. So if for me, like the most achievable way of buying a home without like crippling debt is exiting startup, it means that we are screwed, because by working a normal job, you will never, achieve those basic dreams. So this is why people want to risk it all. And more Gen Zs than ever want to be entrepreneurs, because it's a high risk, high reward, but the worst possible outcome is you go back to having a corporate job that doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So, of course, I'm extrapolating, living in Warsaw, being around talented people, also entrepreneurs. But I say this mindset, even though it might not manifest everywhere as an entrepreneurial spirit, it might manifest as an not willing to, for example, put in overtime if you are not getting paid for it. Because if I'm not getting paid for it and I don't see an upwards mobility out of it, why would I, live to work if I can work to live? So, and this is a major change in this generation, and I think it's great. I love
Exactly.
this, that Gen Z is demanding more from jobs,
Yeah.
and I think that they should, and I'm very proud that we do.
And I'm so inspired by them, to be honest. Like at a very young age, most of them, they don't want corporate jobs. There is an increase in starting a business, whether as a creator or starting new products. So, and
Or they want a corporate job
Yeah.
in a sense that they will come to the job 9 to 5. Hello, goodbye. This is my wage, and I'm not, caring about it. This is just a job, and this is also
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah, this is absolutely right. And what I love about your story is that you're combining both worlds of creators and business people. And as you said, that there is more to creators than just being entertainers and starting their own product. So what do you recommend to a creator to how to start a business, basically? What kind of products, how do they choose their idea of what product to launch or to start?
So how can they choose? First of all, I'd say the question that you should ask is not asking me or anyone. You should ask your community, your audience, because they know what they want from you. And probably like there are 3 ways to approach it. The first one is selling products, as in physical products, associated with your content, with you as a person. Merch, and this merch can be. It doesn't have to be obnoxious. It can be, very, very insider. Like you can sell, for example, like plushies, etc. The more you create. The second part is thinking about, okay, if I do this content, especially if I am known for something, how can I make a product that, because it is signed by me, people think it's of higher quality. For example, if somebody that creates a course about something, then makes a course about selling and making courses, and you know that they're earning big money, this is signed. If a beauty influencer is creating a beauty brand and saying, I signed this off because this is good product and I will use this product, you trust them. If a car influencer, one of my favorite examples, I don't remember the name, but he's the most famous car influencer showing cars, and he created Cars and Bits. It's a website to buy hobby cars, like not the most expensive cars in the world, but just like cars for those who appreciate cars and can afford like a bit more to get like a very amazing car. And he created a website where you can list and post those cars, and probably because people of this profile are watching him, then you have the distribution to do it. So I think the second one is, what is something that you are an expert on, or something that your audience will appreciate because it's signed off by you. If you're a D&D creator, make a set of dice, etc. And the third one is, how can I use the power, the distribution that I have to just earn more? Like, what else can I put my face on to have my brand be bigger than myself? One example is Mr. Beast. So he has nothing to do with burgers. He has nothing to do with chocolate, like no association ever. But because he's so famous, he then, creates Feastables, then creates the Mr. Beast burger. And because he's so famous and already has a distribution, already has the viewers, they can pour in, even though it hasn't do anything with him. And not many creators can do that, really. But those that can, really, with the right people, are then building something bigger than them, because your fame will, fade. Probably you will not want to be an entertainer for the next 10 years because you will get burnout. What can you do to, build something bigger than you, and that can also be a good product without you being in it?
So you think it's better to first build distribution and then create a product?
Or the only reason you are like, as a creator, if you are a creator that already has an audience, a community, the only reason brands come to you to sponsor you is because you have the reach. So they are paying you just the advertising money. If you own the product, then you can, instead choose to be your own advertiser and earn all the margin. And probably it's very lucrative because the brands can afford to pay you the money just to promote, and you are earning the whole rest.
Yeah.
So I'd say the best way to go is, merch and something associated with you is fun. This is fun. But the middle ground, when you have an expertise in something or you have the distribution. So if you are a gaming streamer and one of the biggest groups, OTK, it's a group of streamers, whole company around it. They also have a PC building company. They sell those PCs, but they also have a publishing studio. So they publish games. They pick the games they want to work with. And because they have so much reach, this distribution, they can be this whole vehicle for promoting those games. And they earn by being the distribution channel. So if you can, there is something that by this being your product, people can think, oh, this is good, this is better. And then you can be your own distribution channel. This is the best start. And then you build around it, because if this product grows to be, bigger than you, then you have to, build a company around it. But as a start, for sure, there are, many startups in the creator economy space that even specialize in white labeling products for creators. They have like a wide array of different products, white labeled, for the creator to just stamp their branding, their name, and their distribution on it. But
is
money.
It like print on demand for creators, or is it?
It's more like there are also print on demand, but they more specialize in cosmetics, some any kind of, like, basically they are a company that helps you create this product, but instead of you dealing with the distribution, as in buying, sending the product, etc., they handle the whole rest. You just provide the branding and your face.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I saw a little bit of a trend having certain guys that are operators. So basically their whole business model, they want to start, for example, a design agency. They find some influencer who has distribution. What they manage the business, they give him percentage, and they're both basically business partners.
If you are running a consumer product or a B2B product that has like a low ticket, so many users for lower amount of money, pairing up with an influencer instead of just paying them for reach one post at a time, but keeping them on your cap table, having them invested in really promoting the product, is one of the best strategies. I recently spoke with a founder also in the live streaming space, but more of a hardware. And they said that a couple of big streamers just reached out to them that they want the product, they want to promote it. They just, think this is amazing. And I said, get them to invest in your company, get them to be on your cap table, so they will promote it indefinitely and they will be a part of a reason to believe in you. So, in our case, also in InStreamly, we don't have big streamers on our cap table, but we recently, started working with angel investors or advisors that are working in the marketing industry or worked in it before, that can influence, that can, if they say to somebody they know at a party that, hey, this company is great, this probably means more than any kind of marketing that we would do as a company, because people listen to people. And this is the deal about the creators. If a creator is seen as a person, they have way more influence than any kind of brand, because nobody cares about brands. We care about people.
Exactly. And this is why influencer marketing changed and shifted a little bit, because, and thanks to Gen Z actually, because before it was more of a influencers just like putting product in their posts, and it's so inauthentic, it doesn't look good, and at some point it was not actually even effective for brands.
But it's still, for some reason I always think it's not effective, and it is effective. It's still effective.
Yes, but now it's more authentic, so people buy that. And influencers who are great, or streamers who are great at selling these products,
they actually sometimes also get great at figuring out that they shouldn't be selling somebody else's products and doing their own. Yeah, and this is why I believe like partnerships like this between brands and streamers is so beneficial for everyone, or with influencers in general. So what do you recommend for streamers or influencers
on how to find partners, great partners. Like, you have your team of people, you've hired many people. How do you find the right person to work with?
I'd say that there is this famous saying in startups that everybody learns on their own mistakes anyway. So hire slow, fire fast. And in a sense that every hire should be very every hire should be diligently thought about. So you have to really think about what you expect from this person. And right now, my biggest idea is to look for brilliance, for somebody that has just this spark, this energy that pushes things forward. They have their own idea, and it doesn't have to be extrovertive. I am, of course, like an extrovert person that will always be a bit biased. So I try to level it out with, standardized questions, with standardized tasks for the candidates. But the best people that we work with have a very strong opinion about what they want to do, why it works, and they have the drive to make it happen. In the end, the best person is not the best thinker, the most experienced one, is a person who can make things happen. And yeah, we've learned it the hard way many times. And I'd say that the most of the times, it's even less about the hiring, but then about the decision, like what to do and what to expect of a person. Because if you have very clear objectives, like right now when I onboard somebody, especially if they are working directly with me, the first meeting that we got after they joined the company is I show them 2 documents. The first document is, what are my expectations of you in this role for the next month, like the probatory period. So I tell them about specific things that I look out for in this role. And I also tell them about things that I generally have to have trust in them to work. For example, I hate being a project manager and I hate micromanaging people. If I have to, check if they have done their work, or if there is a problem with their work, that means that we cannot work together, because I will lose the trust that they will do it on their own. And if I lose this trust, it means that I have to check it all the time and I don't have a time for it. So I give them this very clear expectation of that. And I also address any feedback that I had from the screening, from the hiring period. So for example, I chose them because they were very good at this, but not so great at that. But I figured, okay, they can learn the second thing. And I tell them, you were bad at this thing. I want you in the next month to make it better. And the second document that I show is how to work with me. So I tell them all the good and bad of working with me. The management and project management is one of those. And I just tell them here's what I expect from you, and here's how to work with me. And we see within a month if it's a fit, if you can work. And you can ask any kind of questions. You can have any kind of problems, as long as you come to them with me, and not I come to them to you with them, because I spotted them before you did. And this was very helpful. I think the best people were really up to the challenge. They understood that we are here to work, to make things happen, and they gone. And for hiring, I'd say for sure use any kind of tasks that you can. Verify everything. We always pay for recruitment tasks because we value people's time, and people really value that. In a sense, I always treat recruitment as marketing. So there are people the way the process is structured is that everybody has more or less a very good experience with that, because this industry is small. Yeah. They will sooner or later talk about us with somebody, and they can either tell, oh, they were awful during the recruitment, I don't like them, or they can say, oh, they are a great company. I was even trying to apply to them and it didn't fit, but oh, they are so great. And you can, and they showed me this case study and it was very cool. So there are many ways to approach it. In a sense, I have not nailed it. I'd say that I don't know how to hire great people. I know how to check if somebody that we hired is great. And I think that you should check it very, very quickly. The worst mistakes that I made in my career were working with somebody who was mediocre or straight up bad for a longer time than needed because I wanted to be nice, because I wanted for them to have a chance, the first chance, the second chance, the third chance. How many chances can you give somebody? And I really regret that. This is one of the few things that I regret in my journey.
Okay. Are there any differences between recruiting younger generation versus the older generation?
I'd say in the older people, you look also for experience. In the younger ones, in our case, for example, we look for gaming knowledge. So what you don't have in hard skills, you can, compensate with passion, with understanding of gaming. And right now with junior people, we actually switched our recruitment process because CVs suck. Yeah. You get 300 CVs on one recruitment. And we have, one part-time HR business partners handling it all. So instead, for sure, for junior position, for the senior ones, we still accept CVs with nothing else. But for junior ones, we expect people to provide us with something more, a video about them, a couple of sentences or something that will surprise us, just to, first of all, weed out those people who don't care. Like they just send out CVs and they don't care. And if they don't care, why should I care? No. The second one is you are not hiring 10 people. You don't want 10 good CVs. You just want one brilliant person. So even if it means that you will get, 30 times less applications, great. 30 times less people to review. So with junior people, I always try to screen just for this brilliance, for rising up to the challenge. And I'd say having a very good HR person that recognizes the vibe, like recognizes this brilliance. In a short conversation, they know who would be a fit and who would be not a fit, and who just makes a very good impression. Is very important. And you can say that it's very biased because impression. Yeah. But then you have tasks, then you have the probatory period, etc. And if you are the one hiring, if you are the first person on the team hiring the first person on your team, you just better hire somebody you like, because you will be spending a lot of time with them. They will piss you off anyway. So you can at least work with somebody that you like. And if they piss you off, you just take a deep breath, say what pissed you off, and then correct it together and move on. And if it's somebody that you don't like working with, then you're gonna have more problems.
And what about business partners? Is it going to be different because
no.
It's kind of a marriage situation?
It's the same thing. I'd say also a good point is having different points of view, different perspectives, and just different traits. We are 4 co-founders. Me and 3 guys, and each of us has just like a bit of a different perspective, and we, there's a lot of quarrels. Like when it's our founders meeting, we are gonna be discussing a lot. Like some people who come from corporate setting would be very surprised how heated the conversation can get. But it's always because we want to just get to the point, to the truth. And we don't hold grudges. It's not about the person, it's about the topic. Yeah. But because we are looking from different perspectives, it just fits better. Same with the managers I work with. Like each of them is a different person. One guy that I worked with, I think the longest, is a very different person from me. Like he has everything planned. Like the quarter starts and he has a plan of all the things that his team will do this quarter, like apart from the daily stuff. Yeah. And it was quite a hard time for us to work together because I wanted to do things fast, and he was like planning it out. But in the end, it really worked out because we have managed to find the middle ground of the definition of what it means that something is done right and something that's done well. So, for example, he's very able to do a thing that we say as founders, for example, we need to do this very quickly. And for him, very quickly is, okay, today we will plan. Tomorrow we'll do the first part of the plan, the second, and the third day it's gonna be done. And it might seem that, oh, he's so planning so much, it's going so slow. But if I were to do it myself, it would still take 3 days. It would be just a bit more chaotic. So different perspective, especially if it fits the role, if it fits the job, very, very important. I learned to appreciate different kinds of people and working with different kinds of people with different kind of skills and point of views, even more than before. And probably because we are working remotely, it's also way easier to have those conversations, because if I'm not on the call and it's just in a task and it's a written communication, there's no risk of me taking over a conversation because I'm the loudest person in the room. Because in writing, everybody is, as loud as everyone else. So I think remote working in a way helps you to have different kinds of people in your organization.
Yeah, these two things are extremely important. Having someone different, I would say, it's even more of a prerequisite than finding someone like you, because if you find someone like you, there's no really added value.
And sometimes you have to have somebody like you in some senses, and know what things you don't want them to be like.
Exactly.
You.
But for first partnership, if you want to start a new business, most of the time you want someone who's different. Like, for example, in a startup world, you want someone who's tech. I mean, aside from the skills, you want someone also different, which kind of challenge you.
Visionary and operational and technical and
exactly. And now in the creator world, you want someone creator, ideally with distribution, and then either business or tech. Would you recommend someone to go for a startup tech business or more of some physical or digital product, let's say, for a creator?
If you are a creator, I'd say it's gonna be mostly consumer products. You don't really want a product that, a B2B SaaS just requires you to constantly work on that. A product is a one-off. You create a product, you can create the next version. You don't need to work on it. So I'd say that if you are a creator and your main source of income is from your audience, you should focus on what gives you the most income. And it's probably not building a B2B SaaS and creating a consumer product. But it really, really depends on what kind of creator you are and what is your content, who are your people. And in some cases, you probably don't need to do any kind of product. Just, take the sponsorship money and have fun. There was this... I am so bad with names, but there's like one of the most popular tech creators, technology YouTubers, and he was very known for having strong opinions. Like if somebody made a shitty product, he was dunking them to the ground, and well known for that, well known for cherishing quality. And then this year he created the product, released the product himself. Now on the other side. But it was a very shitty wallpaper application for iPhones. Okay. Basically, the worst thing that he could do, because it wasn't of the highest quality, it was expensive, like it didn't fit to his brand. And people brought him down. Hey, dude, you are the one that is bringing other products, judging them by quality and value. And now you are doing a shitty app that doesn't even fit your brand. Why are you doing this? Yeah. And he probably would be better off just taking the sponsorship money instead of trying to do an app. Yeah,
that was MK something. I forgot his name.
MK something, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really bad move. Yeah. A really bad move. And I hope not many creators do that, because he's just lost credibility right now.
He lost credibility this way.
At all, yeah. And any next video, probably people just not really trust him as before.
And in a sense, people will forget. As long as you, there's, I don't know who said that, but there is this just straight up rule. If you're a creator and you fuck something up, like major PR thing, you don't ever stop posting. You killed a pregnant nun while driving a car drunk, doesn't matter. You are putting out content today and tomorrow and the next day. And the moment that you stop, this is the moment when you lose. And even though they are talking about you, and it's a very interesting thing, because in the end, it will all fade out. And the content and the recognizability will still stay.
Yeah, recency bias is real. Yeah, you just have to move on and not focus really on PR or like try to, unless you do
Just
something
do your
really
thing.
extremely bad.
Yeah, and still like it's a toxic advice in a sense. Hey, like people do bad things, but if you are looking out for yourself as a creator, you probably just still should be posting. And this is very interesting about our world.
Okay, how do you spend most of your time at the moment? Is it more of managing people, or is it more products, or are you also creating some content yourself?
I'm responsible. So there like I'm overseeing 3 teams. So in 2 times working with the managers, so they are doing the day-to-day jobs with their teams. So there's the creative side, the team that creates the ideas for the campaign, because sometimes we are creating like the whole ideas, and then the streamer side. In those both cases, I just, work with the managers. Like we have calls, we discuss things. It's more about growth than day-to-day activities. Then there's marketing. Right now, I am looking for a marketing manager that will be like the person running our marketing. And right now I am doing the job because there is nobody else. So most of my time, like as of currently, is spent doing the marketing parts. I also took it upon myself to say, okay, I want to do US market. So I reach out to people, I talk, I applied for a grant, I do marketing for the US market and try to make those deals happen. It's going quite slow, but this is something that I'm very fond of. And on the side, as our tactic for marketing, we decided that influencers work best. And what's the best influencer? Your own influencer. So I do thought leadership, let's call it. So, keynotes, podcasts, but also a lot of writing on LinkedIn about, Generation Z, gaming, marketing to gamers. I would love to do it more because I think this is valuable. I know that this builds our like recognizability on the market, but it's always, the not urgent but important stuff, so it gets pushed every day. So if I were to do more, for sure, more content and more focus on like visionary expansive, like something that pushes the business forward than day-to-day operations.
Got it. Yeah,
this is my goal for the next year.
Yeah, there's this trend of founder-led marketing and in startups basically. So just getting the founder to be out there in all social media. What are the skills that you think are necessary to be a successful founder and also creator at the same time?
At the same time, probably discipline, number one, not my strongest suit. So putting a piece of content every day and not being a perfectionist about it, because in the end, and I learned it the funny way. So there were times that I posted the things thinking, oh, this is such a great post, so insightful. People will love it. I love this post, my favorite one this year. Nobody really cared. No. And sometimes I put up a post with and I thought it's so awful. Such a, simple things. Everybody knows that. Nobody will care about that. And it blew out and people were, sharing it and this was one of my most popular posts. So I think the discipline of also not caring, not taking into deeply your opinion about what is good content, just creating content that you think is interesting for your audience. And doing it for a reason, because I don't think every founder should do it. There are many people who say, if a founder goes to conferences, I am not investing in this company because they should be focused on business. And in many cases, that's true. So in many cases, if you're, doing a deep tech company that's right now in a phase of R&D and you don't need investment money, why are you going to this conference? For fun, probably. There are some conferences I go to for fun. But if you are a founder, for example, marketing industry is driven by who you know, who you have access to, who thinks you are cool. And being a keynote speaker on a conference and then meeting people makes you way cooler than just being a conference attendee. So there is a reason we do it this way. And also I optimize in this way for serendipity. So this is a conscious decision that I will go to conferences and deem it, I don't have a reason to go there. I'm going for fun. But I think at least 2 times, somebody who I met or somebody who I talked with on a conference or a meeting I went to for fun made a huge impact on our business. Like we were closing a round and we needed investors. Yeah. And we were very like a long situation, but we just needed the money very quickly. And I went to a conference it was for fun because I was like, okay, we're not gonna take the money, make the money. There's gonna be consequences, not good. Okay, let's at least have fun. And I met a friend of mine, another founder, and I told her about the situation, and she said, "Oh, I should introduce you to my angel investor. He's very cool." And he closed up the round. So you never know what happens, and you have to optimize. If you make this decision that you want to be out there, just commit to it and really be out there, because going one time out of 100 probably wouldn't matter. Posting one post once 100 days also will not push you forward. Yeah. But putting yourself out there just, gives you this option of people having a way to connect with you. And I think if you have more than 2 founders on your team, if you have 3 founders, for sure, one of them should be the people person and be the public face, because you cannot really lose on that. No. You can just win, and in some cases you will not win enough to justify it, but in some cases you will win a jackpot.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned about the funding. What would you recommend to someone who's just starting and looking for funding? What is the right time? When is the right time to raise some money, and when is not the right time, and how to do it?
The best time to raise money is when you don't need the money, and the worst time is when you need the money. Yeah. I'd say that right now, if I were to do it once again, probably I'm biased, but I wouldn't raise VC money unless I was doing a moonshot thing. Like I need a lot of money to do like a big business. It's probably not gonna work, but if it works, it's just gonna change the world. Or if you're doing a deep tech and you need the money because R&D, costs a lot. But for most founders, you don't need money to start. I sometimes get contacted by founders asking, hey, here's our pitch deck, can you give feedback? We are raising money because we already have the MVP, but we just need money for marketing. And I tell them that you don't really need money for marketing. No. You need your time. Your time, of course, costs something, but to reach the first 100 clients, to cold email them on LinkedIn, to go to a Facebook group and post about your thing, asking for feedback, to create a landing page for free on Wix or something else. You don't need money, you need time. Like, it's not gonna scale, but to start, you don't need it. So once you have this mindset, probably if you are a creator, it's way easier because you have the distribution. Yeah. Then things get solvable, but by not you relying on external money, because you will not get it. Probably if you don't have traction, if you don't have clients, you will not get money in Poland. You might get money somewhere else if you are not a Polish founder. So the best time is when you really know that you need the money to scale and you know what to use it for. And probably if you can, it depends on your goals. If you want a business that will change your life and will set up you for the rest of your life, probably you shouldn't raise money. Because if you make a business and it grows well, and after 2 years, somebody wants to buy it from you for $10 million, and it's all yours, $10 million in your pocket. Yeah. You are good to go, especially in Poland. But if a VC invested in you, and they invested 2 years ago at even 5 million PLN, so $1 million valuation, and right now somebody wants to buy it for 10 million, most of VCs will tell you, no, you have to work, because this, if it grows the same way, in 10 years you can sell it for $1 billion and we can earn a lot out of that.
Yeah.
But by this point, probably you will all own 20, maybe 10% of the company. And I don't know, maybe it's worth it. But if you want a quick outcome, a good outcome that's like very meaningful for you, the more you hold on to the equity, the better. Hard topic. I'd say that raising money is the most gruesome, soul-sucking experience a founder can experience. It's good to go through it at least once, in the sense that learning how it's done, learning to pitch, learning to talk about your business. Investors ask good questions you should think about, and then you can discredit the investors, but it just, gets you thinking about stuff. But relying on that you have to raise the first round and the next round and the next round, you're on a path that's very, very hard. And I wouldn't recommend it. And if you want to do it, go read some YC, some YC manuals that like have a lot of content. There's a lot of content about that. A good pitch deck, a fair valuation, and knowing the right people. Once again, if you go to conferences, if you know those VCs, there is a higher chance that you will raise money. You can say that 11 Labs is the biggest Polish unicorn right now. But they had a far hard time raising money from Polish investors. They were the tech guys, they had the technology, but no real idea on how to scale it into a product, etc. And the first round wasn't easy for them. Mm-hmm. So even if you have the best product in the world, it's gonna be a long process. You have to get ready that it's gonna take half of your time for the next 2 months. And this is the most important thing that every founder should know. You will hear a lot of no's. We talked with 100 investors to get the 5 that we have, 100, 150, and talked, an hour call or a couple of emails. So you have to be very prepared to hear no a lot and still be able to go at it.
Yeah, to be honest, most of the time, trying to raise money for most founders is a complete waste of time, because that time you spend asking for money, you could spend it improve your product or find clients for your product.
Yeah, and asking for money from your clients.
Exactly, yeah. And so talking about Poland, how do you see Poland as a tech hub at the moment? There are multiple startups, multiple unicorns coming from Poland, and there is more to it, a lot of money coming in to the country. And I love seeing that, but it's still, comparing it to US, for example, it's still not at that level. Do you see Poland making it to that level as US not. or not really?
I think not, but I'm very positive. Mm-hmm. So I think that as when I was a teenager, I thought that I have to go study outside of Poland. I have to move outside of Poland to really have a good life, etc. Like there is no success in Poland. And if I were to study in Poland, I have to go to the best possible university that there is, because, it's just in Poland. But right now, after years, I see people who studied in UK, in Germany, coming back to work in Poland. And I see what's happening also in Europe. And I think probably this is the best country to invest your future in for the next 10 to 20 years. Like building my network, my net worth, my, being known here probably is the best. If in comparison, like I could probably, if I did it in US, it would be better, at least from the career success point of view. But overall in Europe, for example, this is the best place to be. And I think we have really strong technology people, and we have a very, very important thing. We have a chip on our shoulder. We are, we feel inferior enough to think that we have to work very hard and we want to prove ourselves and we have something to strive. Like we are not lazy, but we are Western enough that we are very into technology. We are very well educated, and we're in the perfect position to create companies and technology. There is one minus, I'd say, with Poland. for entrepreneurs starting here. It's very nice to build a Polish business. If you are starting a company in Czech Republic and it's a startup, technology, etc., probably the Czech market is not enough. You have to go global from day one, because you will not earn enough money by doing something niche in Czech Republic.
No.
In Poland, quite a big market, quite a good spending power. You can do generally a good lifestyle or not lifestyle business in Poland. But then going outside is very, very hard. So there's this trap of feeling comfortable that you can do a great business here. And for most startups with global ambitions, this is also why they go straight to US. Because if they start building here and focusing on starting here, then it's very, very hard to go outside. We are facing this at InStreamly. Like of course, we are present in 15 markets, but Poland is still one of the strongest. Even though the purchasing power or the price that we have in Poland versus in Germany is like vastly, vastly different. Like Polish pricing is 5 times lower than, for example, US and German one. So I am very bullish on Poland. I think that we are in a good position. There's a lot of VC funds. There's a lot of funding coming in. We have a way different approach to innovation and entrepreneurship in comparison to US. And also, I don't really care about US.
Yeah.
Like we are here, we can do global technology. Of course, US has the power because it's the biggest market out there. You can, if you want to sell in Europe, you have to adhere to every law in every country and translate to every language.
Is that the hardest part about being outside Poland or operating outside Poland?
No, I like outside Poland, but in Europe, but also the cultural difference in general, like in the business, you have to always balance what makes you money and what can make you money.
Okay.
And going outside is always pricey and always risky, but this is what can make you the most money. But if you are earning enough money in Poland, then I have this joke. I haven't told it in English, but this is a good metaphor for that. So there is a 6-year-old Jan is coming to the table waiting for dinner. Mom said, "Hey, Jan, come to dinner." And he looks at mom and says to her, "Mom, and where is the compote or the juice?" And mom says, "Jan, you can talk? You haven't spoke for 6 years. Like, this is the first time I hear you talk. Why haven't you talked before?" And he says, "Oh, because the juice was always here." And you know, if you have enough money, if you're making good business in Poland, the juice is here. You don't feel like the very big compelling push to do it. And
it's like basically working for corporate. Many people don't want to start a business just because they're too comfortable.
And that's understandable. So US probably has the biggest impact because it's the biggest market. If you do something in US, you are doing it in the whole US. There's just the opportunity. But I don't really care. I don't think that they have smarter people than us, or they have anything special, in a sense that they just have the bigger market. And I think we are well positioned to do business internationally. We just have to be brave enough and hardworking enough, and we are. So I would love to in the future be able to invest in more Polish companies.
100%. I mean, I've been here for 11 years, and I love how I saw Poland growing within just this short time period, and it's just so inspiring. And being here, seeing that growth in every area, not only tech, and also people as well, because many people, they say, okay, Polish people are great in technology, but also business-wise.
Yeah, and marketing. We have very good marketers.
Exactly. It's getting even better at that. And it's just a great place to be at, business-wise and other also lifestyle-wise. So it's a great place to be. Yeah. So I'm happy to be witnessing that firsthand. And I also am very optimistic about the future of Poland and many unicorns, and hopefully even better than US. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think it's good to hear that. I think that the more people think about it this way, thoughts make reality, in a sense. Like, we make choices based on our thoughts, and our choices make the reality. So I'm glad to hear more and more people are also bullish on Poland.
Awesome. What is one advice that you would give to creators, to someone who wants to start something, whether a YouTube channel or Twitch channel or a business? What advice would you give them?
Be brave enough to suck at something new. It's one of my favorite advices. It's just, you will not be good the first time, the second time. Appreciate the failure as a part of the learning, and be brave to admit that, hey, this can be done better, and then improve on that. And I think as long as you keep this mindset and you keep on grinding as well, you will come up to do great things.
That's awesome. What is next for InStreamly?
Global partnerships. Like we just announced one in Germany, one in CE in Hungary. I am searching for one in US. We have also ones in Turkey, in Japan, in Brazil. So I think US is the next stop. And we are right now a profitable company. So this is a fun one. And I think really scaling to get to the meaningful exit. Like we have a very concrete timeline, how much we need to grow within what time to make it a meaningful exit. And yeah, we are on a clock right now. I'd say that this is also exciting to put, a strict terms into something and say, okay, this is what we need to grow to make it a meaningful exit for us.
I look forward to hearing that exit news.
I hope so, yeah.
Thank you so much, Wiktoria, for your time. I really appreciate it. That was insightful for me, and I'm pretty sure many people will find that insightful. So
thank you very much. Thank you.